are now listening to On One Radio, the talk show podcast station, bringing you the current events and issues. All information and resources are based on the opinions of the host unless otherwise noted. This podcast may contain some quotations, images, and or excerpts from copyrighted material. These uses fall well within the copyright doctrine of fair use. This is the News Report, and I am your host, Tony. Welcome. This is Let's Talk News Report. I am your host, Tony Williams. Welcome to all my listeners and all of my day ones. I appreciate you being here. Thank you. Okay, so what we have in the news today is, the idea of firing Fauci after the election? Questionable, right? If you have not been made aware of this topic, we're going to discuss it today. Okay, so we have Trump suggesting he might fire Fauci after the election. Now, this came after the White House blasted the infectious disease expert for saying that the U.S. is in terrible position heading into winter. Okay, I'm going to put a question mark right there because it's really not wise to fire someone who's actually telling the truth or stating a fact. And it's just very questionable. Now, Donald Trump suggested during a campaign rally in Florida on yesterday that he might fire Dr. Anthony Fauci after the election. The comment came during his fifth and final rally on the day in Apalaka, when he promised that a vaccine is coming and the country is rounding the turn on the pandemic. Now, his crowd of supporters then began chanting, "Fire Fauci. Don't tell anybody, but let me wait a little bit after the election," Trump said in response, leading to cheers from the audience. And he goes on to say, "I appreciate it," who continued by mocking Fauci. Now, he's been wrong on a lot. He's a nice man, though. Now, this came after the White House blasted Fauci for saying in a new interview that the U.S. is in a terrible position heading into the winter months. Fauci also said Joe Biden was taking the virus seriously as a public health threat while Trump was focused on the economy and reopening. White House spokesman Judd Deere said it was unacceptable and breaking with all norms for Dr. Fauci, a senior member of the president's coronavirus task force and someone who has praised President Trump's action throughout this pandemic, to choose 3 days before an election to play politics. So the question becomes, is he really playing politics, or is he telling truth or stating facts, however you want to word it? But it is questionable. Now, we are heading into the winter months, and this is cold and flu season. And this pandemic is not helping the situation. Around this time every year, so many people get sick just off flu season and end up with pneumonia, and we lose some people every year around this time. Well, now let's factor in the pandemic. So now we have cold flu season mixed with the coronavirus. Now, those things coming together to make for a very sticky situation. So I'm not quite seeing that as Fauci being funny or trying to be political, but you have to tell the truth at some point. Now, you guys can let me know what you think of this, how you feel about this. Just give your opinion about this. But I don't know. Me personally, I don't think it's playing political or being funny or any of those things. I just think it is a truthful statement, especially seeing as what position he's in. He has a lot of the facts. Now, what was stated about Fauci being wrong? A lot. Okay, well, let's be honest about it. Everyone's human and everyone makes mistakes. But you typically learn from those mistakes and not make them again. So, if we're going to go based on that to fire Fauci, then I'm sorry, but the president should be fired as well because he's been wrong a lot. And it is true that he did not take the pandemic seriously. He was holding a lot of big rallies and was not following the CDC guidelines. I mean, at one point he had a rally in a closed environment with a lot of people, and it added to the pandemic. Well, let's say the spread of it. And no, he did not wear a mask. And now he does have, supposedly, allegedly, COVID himself. So to say that Fauci should be fired, I don't think so. Whether we like the truth or not, at some point we have to accept the truth. America's already in a tough spot with the pandemic, but now it is cold and flu season. So yeah, we are. We are definitely in a very tight spot with this pandemic during the winter months. Now, it continues to say we're in for a whole lot of hurt. It's not a good situation, Fauci, the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, stated. All the stars are aligned in the wrong place as you go into the fall and winter season. With people congregating at home indoors, you could not possibly be positioned more poorly. The U.S. is nowhere close to rounding the turn as the president has suggested. On yesterday, there were more than 400 new deaths and more than 70,000 new cases nationwide. Fauci has served in his position since 1984, serving under both Republican and Democratic presidents. He has suggested that he will continue in his role regardless of outcome of the 2020 election. So, what do you guys think? Definitely let me know. I welcome any feedback, comments, opinions, all of that, because this does involve us all. Are we really in a tight spot? Let me know. It is cold and flu season, and we're still struggling with the pandemic. And to be honest about it, if we do our research and look, we're really not about to round the corner on a vaccine because, trials are trials. And at one point, they were stopped due to apparently unforeseen issues. And there's no point in rushing a vaccine that could possibly take out more lives than the pandemic itself. And this is not a situation to where there is a choosing the lesser of the evil. We really have to be careful, and we should be continuing to wear masks, keep our distance, because there's a whole lot of people that still do not believe in this pandemic, although we have had so much proof that it is a huge problem. Now, yes, tomorrow is election, but everything should not be about the election. There are a lot of things going on, especially when it comes to health. So let's be wise and try to be proactive about our health, because this definitely affects our health, not just politically, but physically. And Trump suggesting that he might fire Fauci after the election, it's not very wise to say that. I understand that he has made this issue political, but this is about America's health and the world's health. So let's make the right choices here and do what's best for the American people and worldwide. So take care of yourselves. Wear your mask. Have some class. Wear your mask. Take care of yourselves and each other. You have been listening to On One Radio, the talk show podcast station, bringing you the current events and issues. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my news report. I wish you the best and have a wonderful day and night.